Hi everyone. Okay, so since the last video, a few things have happened. So this video is more of just a quick update. Um, so since the last video, uh, things have been going a little bit better in Kenora. Um, the city of Kenora has put out a leisure guide, which, as I said in the post when I saw it, I absolutely love because it gives me some ideas of different activities to do in Kenora. But it really doesn't touch too much on the events. Now, the issue with the events is it's individual organizations that host these events. The city actually hasn't really been doing too much in regards to recreation. A lot of like the winter festivities they were canceled. Um, there was a speedway thing that was canceled, and then there was also music Shake the Lake that was canceled for this year. And these were things that um, the city would host different activities, right? So at least I think it was the city that hosted them. So I mean, those kind of things are kind of disappointing to find out that they've been canceled. Now, individual entities, they can ho- host different events like um different companies, different organizations, they can host events. But the problem is if they don't choose to post those events in the leisure guide, or they don't choose to advertise them in the leisure guide, then the general public doesn't know about them. So it's still very much a segregated community. And a very good example of that is what happened to me this weekend. Now, there is a steak dinner thing happening over at the Kuwaitan Curling Club this weekend. And I thought, hey, that would be kind of neat to go, like, go watch the curling people. Um, but definitely go for the steak supper. That sounds really good. Um, so I emailed the guy, and it's not a few people it's not a few people who are selling tickets. It's one person. So on the poster that I saw, um, there's this guy's email. Now he didn't put his phone number, just the email, and you email the person and get information. It said email to reserve a plate. Okay, not a big deal. I emailed this person, but I haven't heard anything back. And again, that speaks to how certain things are put in place in order to segregate certain members of society, right? So here's this big event going on, and again, I'm excluded. Very disappointing. Um, and that's fine, but there's not a lot of other activities going on in Kenora. Now there is a fundraiser thing happening today, but the thing is, I'm really against fundraising for organizations that are community supported in a community that is not accepting of me. So there's that, right? Like I'm not going to go and spend my money, my hard-earned money supporting a community that is not going to accept me as a person, right? Um Now getting back to Winnipeg, um I haven't heard anything back from the Human Rights Commission. I do plan on putting in another complaint against the Manitoba College of Social Workers. I started that complaint, but I haven't actually completed it yet, which is fine. Um, I'm hoping to finish it off this weekend. Now, um, but getting back to the college, now again, we're talking about cult-like activities like the segregation that's happening in Kenora, not being able to take part in different activities, not being able to see different activities. Oh, that's another thing, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not. Um, So my Facebook, I seem to be getting some Kenora stuff during the week, but as soon as Friday hits, it all goes to recipes, advertisements, bunch of law, um, lawyer referral posts and stuff. But it's funny, these lawyer referral posts, I call the numbers and they don't get back to me. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of space on my Facebook feed. Um, and it's also made me wonder if I shouldn't be seeking legal help outside of Canada. Um, and I mean, that's something that I'm going to be exploring in the next little bit. I don't even know if it is possible to do that. I've got to look into it. Um, but I mean, like, from my perspective, um, the Manitoba College of Social Workers is penalizing me for speaking out in regards to a personal situation that occurred. And they're penalizing me by saying that I brought disrepute to the college, essentially embarrassing the college. Well, part of our Canadian Constitution is freedom of speech, right? If freedom of speech is protected under the Canadian Constitution. Now, the Canadian Constitution is the supreme law in Canada, the supreme um, it, there's a there's a part of the Canadian Constitution that says that um, it is the supreme law in Canada, and um, something to that effect. I'll find it and I'll read it off to you guys in the next video. Um, but and the next video is going to be probably tomorrow because one of the things that I've decided is every time that my Facebook feed does not give me an accurate account of what's going on in Kenora, I'm going to be making another video regardless, and I'm going to be talking about what's going on in Kenora and the disappointments and the positive things too. I mean, I haven't really experienced a lot of positive things in Kenora. I did go to the log cabin a couple days, well, yeah, a couple days ago, and it was really good. I really enjoyed the food there. Um, it's a nice atmosphere, good service, good food. But um, yeah, I haven't really experienced a lot of positive things in Kenora in the last little bit, which has been very disappointing. And when you consider the fact that there are things that are going on and the organizers, it's almost like they take steps to make sure that you cannot take part. Uh, but getting back to the college. So, um, when we're looking at the Canadian Constitution and our freedom of speech is protected under the Canadian Constitution, and these entities that are supposed to represent the profession in a province, so not a small area of Canada, but an entire province, and they're basically throwing the Canadian Constitution out the window and saying, we're going to penalize you because we don't like your views, we don't like what you're saying. It really speaks to, again, cult like behavior, because the Canadian Constitution that every Canadian is supposed to like every Canadian's rights are protected under the Canadian Constitution. Now, I was born and raised here, and so for me, I feel um, that the actions that the college is taking is very abusive, very violating, and um, it speaks to how the Canadian Constitution in Canada, specifically Manitoba, means very little. Now, right now we're living in a time where Alberta is talking about separating from Canada. It wasn't too long ago that Quebec was talking about separating from Canada. So, I mean, when we're talking about different provinces separating from Canada, first of all, we got to ask why, right? Now, I don't know too much about the why they want to go, why they want to separate. I haven't really been following it too much. I know some of it has to do with oil and well, essentially the economics, right? But um, again, I haven't really been following it too much. But I gotta say that when the supreme law in Canada is being thrown um, out the window, and different entities and people in power are able to abuse the system and decide who is going to be protected under the Constitution and who is not, then then what is Canada? I mean, Canada was founded on the Canadian Constitution. It that that is why um, that's what brought all the provinces together, right? Was an agreement to uphold this, to live by these not even guidelines, but these laws. And these entities within different provinces, for my purposes, I'm speaking to Manitoba, but these different entities are just allowed to say, we're just not going to honor it. And I mean, like, that's what the Manitoba College of Social Workers is doing. And it's interesting. I went to the Canadian Association of Social Workers, and I contacted them, and they haven't responded to me at all. So again, now we're talking about a federal entity, and they're not responding to me. So again, does the Canadian Constitution actually mean anything in this country anymore? Or are we just allowing these different people in power to exhibit cult like behavior and determine who has rights and who doesn't? And um, and what laws are going to be followed and what laws are just going to be tossed out on a random, right? Anyways, that's it for me for today. I'm probably going to post another video tomorrow. The way I'm working it is if today I can't see different events going on and I'm staying at home, I'm posting a video. So tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about the legal system and how, um, yeah, I'll surprise you with something. I got an idea, anyways. I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good Saturday.